clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue skies. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
Thank you so much. That is Christian and Rita and their Never Give Up Entertainment Ministry. How grateful we are to have you today. What a beautiful song. Thank you so much. My name is Sandra Dela Cruz, and I am your celebration assistant this morning. So welcome to all of you who are here today. Welcome to all of you that are streaming at home. We are so grateful that you are here. And we are blessed to have you with us this morning. I have an announcement I'd like to make. Next Sunday after service, we would like to celebrate Reverend Doug Dewar and thank him for his service to us as an interim minister. And we're going to do something we haven't done in a long time. We're actually going to go upstairs and share a meal. Yay! I know a lot of you have said, when are we going to do that? When are we going to do that? So the Board of Trustees and the Spiritual Care Team would like to invite you after service to go upstairs and we'll share a meal. And if you're so moved, we're happy for you to bring a snack, a side, a sweet. But even if you don't worry. We'll have a meal for you. So we're excited about that. And we're so grateful to Reverend Doug Dewar and the time that he has spent with us, helping us get from one minister, Reverend Karen, to our new minister, Reverend David. So let's make sure and thank Reverend Doug. We want to tell you that we are so grateful to receive any donation that you're able to provide to us. That's how we have beautiful music, that's how we have air conditioning, and that's how we have service. So we are really blessed by any donation that you're so moved to give. And we have new ways. We've actually entered 2022 with, we still take checks and we still take cash, but my goodness, now we accept donations through text messages, and you can actually scan a QR code and give us a donation. So we are grateful that we've entered this new age of using our phones. So thank you. And as we accept those donations, I'd like for you to repeat with me our offering blessing. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. With gratitude, we commit to using our gifts for good. And today's word from our daily word is thoughtful. And our affirmation today is, my kind thoughts and deeds are a blessing. Today I bring the love and peace of God to all of my encounters by being thoughtful. More than politeness and deeper than kindness, thoughtfulness means I consider the comfort and happiness of others equal to my own. My intention is to let those in my life know what they mean to me. I may reach out to someone who needs an encouraging word, letting them know that they have what it takes to succeed. I may surprise someone with a kind act, anticipating a need and taking care of something for them that they have to ask. Each thoughtful word and act lets those in my life know how important they are to me and how worthy they are of my time and intention. And today's scripture is Hebrews 13:16. Do not neglect to do good and to share what you have, for such sacrifices are pleasing to God. And would you repeat our affirmation for today? My kind thoughts and deeds are a blessing. And now I'd like to invite Judy Flebister, who will say our prayer for this morning.
Good morning, Unity on Greenville. Good morning. I'd like for you to use your power of imagination and think I am wearing the prayer chaplain scarf. It is on vacation. It will return next week. Meantime, okay, let's gather together in silence for a moment and close our eyes. Just let our bodies relax, let our shoulders relax. Let go of the worries and the cares and the concerns that we had when we walked through the door. Just lay those down. We're going to go inside and focus our energy and our presence of being on the awareness of God's presence in our lives each and every day. So we'll take 3 deep cleansing breaths. Breathe in love. And breathe out love. As we concentrate our thoughts on the divine within, we realize that we have so much to give to others. With our time, our ability to listen, our understanding, and our love. God gives that all to us first, and it's up to us to share it with others. So we'll go into the silence thinking God is love. And with the realization that we are the peacemakers, and we share that peace with others, we are so grateful for our continued spiritual growth and the opportunity to be a blessing to someone else as we receive our own blessings in return. Namaste. I'll be in the back of the sanctuary should you want personal prayer afterwards. Thank you.
And so as we continue in that beautiful sacred energy, breathing into the love of the one heart that is God, just notice how you feel in this moment. Giving thanks for your body temple. Allowing the light of the one to circulate as your being. Let's take another deep breath in together as we breathe in that love. And as we exhale, just allowing joy to radiate from our being, like a beautiful rainbow after a storm. We breathe in all of that love, and we breathe out joy that circulates in the world. And for these next few minutes, just bring into your heart, your mind, allowing your soul to reveal all that is seeking greater joy. Just bring one thing, whether it's personal, whether it's with a relationship, or what we see in the world. And just know that no matter what the appearance may be, God is present. Breathe in. And now breathe out joy into that space, that experience. That this light of God is circulating, lifting, awakening, soothing, healing by revealing wholeness. So with this beautiful, sweet sound, allow this music to carry you deeper into your heart. With every breath, breathing in love into that situation, breathing out joy, seeing it circulate. And just continue following your breath, being that light, allowing whatever human emotion or feeling that's present, bearing witness to that. But let's lift this moment with love and joy. So continue breathing in love, breathing out joy, following your breath. And wherever your mind may take you, allow your heart to remind you, despite any appearance or condition, that which we call God, divine love, divine light, divine peace, divine harmony, divine joy, divine wisdom is present with every breath. The light dissipates that fog of sometimes of the human amnesia, revealing that pristine diamond light that is your life, all of life, because it's God's life. Breathe in. Oh, that love, and as you radiate joy in that exhale, just see it circulating in your life and in the world. While each breath takes you deeper, let each beautiful note take you higher. As we bring heaven here as earth. Breathing in, all that love. Breathing out, oh, radiating joy. And if you're in a space where the experience is difficult, let this love and this joy here with each one of us lift you. Just allow yourself to be carried in this light, held in the arms of love, tickled with joy. Breathing in, breathing out. Seeing clearly in every moment the power of divine love, the power of divine joy, the infinite promise of the rainbow. Allowing yourself to be lighter and brighter. Breathing in, breathing out. And one more deep breath in. Breathe in that love. And that exhale, radiating joy and deep gratitude for this divine communion. This simple awakening and the preciousness of being spirit in this human realm where we can choose in every moment to bear witness to our experience, but to remember our divinity.
we'll enjoy more music from Christian and Rita.
Thank you for that meditation. I wanted to stay there. It's so wonderful to see all of y'all. Thank you so much for letting us share our hearts with you. This is an old song called What's Going On by Marvin Gaye.
There's too many of you crying. Brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. You know we got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. War is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate. You know we got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Picket line, sister, picket sign, sister, don't punish me with brutality. Come on, talk to me, so you can see, hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I tell you what's going on. Ooh, 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 ooh. Mother, mother, everybody thinks we're wrong, but who are they to judge us simply 'cause our hair is long? You know we got to find a way to bring some understanding here today. Picket lines, brother, picket signs, brother, don't punish me with brutality. Come on, talk to me, so you can see, hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I tell you what's going on. Mothers crying, people dying, evolution. Let's find solutions. What's going on? 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 I tell you what's going on. What's going on? Thank you.
How wonderful. I forgot how much I love that song. Thank you, thank you. I'd like to introduce to you who don't know Reverend Veronica Valles, but many of us do, and those of you that don't, that are here, and those of you that don't, who are home, you're going to be in for a real treat. There is no other minister quite like her, and so we're happy to have her as our guest minister today.
No pressure.
Welcome.
Good morning, Unity on Greenville. So while I'm organizing here, I'm going to have you take a look around the room and connect eye to eye with someone. And if you're in the front, try to look in the back. Since we're not doing our meet and greet, this is how we get to presence the divine in each other. And then as I am making peace with the fact that I probably need to get glasses all the time, just for reading. So good morning. How is everyone? Good to see you. Thank you. The music is phenomenal. So we're talking about joyful anticipation, living in answered prayer. And Sandra and I have been having a fabulous conversation. So when I found out that Reverend David Howard is going to be your minister, I was like, yes, in celebration of all that is arriving. So joyful anticipation is that energy of when we plant that seed in prayer, that we're watering it with the sacred yes. I always want to reference our beloved master teacher, Jesus. It says in Matthew 7:7, when we talk about prayer, it says, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened. And then in Mark 11:24, therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. And what we understand about prayer, we're not begging, we're not beseeching. It's not like we're playing the lottery. We're actually aligning in consciousness, knowing that that spiritual reality that we call God, that divine love, divine presence, is revealing in the prayer, which is the encoded answer already present. Think of it as the acorn seed. Everything that's necessary for that oak tree is in that seed. Everything. However, that seed's not going to grow unless we put it in soil, unless there's sun, rain, and even the wind, because the wind will then help grow its roots. But we have to be willing to ask and know that in the asking, we're aligning in consciousness for that which we are seeking to demonstrate in our lives. And it's not just about the things, the stuff, even though it's the materialistic realm that we seem to live in. It is the way that God shows up as your life. So when we live in answered prayer in joyful anticipation, we're knowing the perfect revelation. Who's ever made plans for a trip and we're extremely excited about it? Anybody? Like you're going to go travel, you're so excited, and then does anybody ever go, oh, I wish I wasn't going? Ever? No. Do you sit at work? Oh, I wish I could just spend 2 more weeks at work. No. You're living in that joyful anticipation, even though you're being present, of the experience you're going to have. Because we don't know till we're present in the moment of what arrives. But the joyful anticipation opens our heart, knowing that we are already watering that seed with gratitude, and we're trusting that there's divine right action in all of that. And in the moment, we know what we know. Even on a trip, you may have an agenda. I want to go see this, I want to go do that, but you actually will not know the experience until you're in the experience. And when you're in the experience, you're flowing in the holy now. That is joyful anticipation. That I'm opening myself to receive that which is of the highest good, knowing that it is perfect, that the power and presence that we call God is revealing exactly what is necessary in the moment. Now, who's ever prayed for something and it didn't first demonstrate the way that you thought? Anybody, or is that just me? All right, good, not just me. Awesome. But then you realize, let's first go back. And were you disappointed? A little? Frustrated? Maybe, yeah. Having that human experience, like, well, why did that person get the job and not me, right? And then you realize later on, as you move in your life, as that seed starts to grow, it's like, oh, I'm at the perfect place, right here, right now. That wasn't answered prayer because that wasn't the answer to my prayer. Here, right now, is that revelation of my good. Here, right now, is divine flowing perfectly. oh, and then you kind of feel a little guilty because you're a little snarky, or was that just me? It's like when you didn't get when the relationship didn't happen, or you didn't get the job, or you're disappointed about this, and then you take a couple steps, 2 steps to the left, 10 steps higher, you're like, oh, there was perfect timing. There was a perfect flow. So we want to bear witness when we're having our human experience to that maybe disappointment, but that's when our trust, that's when that joyful anticipation is like, okay, and so the prayer I always say is this or something greater, meaning if it's not this, then show me what is my unique carnation, experiencing, expressing in this world. And so when we plant that seed, we want to plant that seed in joyful anticipation. 9 months ago, this community planted a seed. 9 months ago. So we're giving birth, all right? We're giving birth to a new community as we welcome Reverend David Howard. But think about it. There was a process, right? There's an evolution that happens. That seed does not grow in a day. An idea doesn't form fully in a moment where you may download it. It's a divine timing part that we as humans sometimes have little challenges. I want it, and I want it now, Spirit. And then you're like, oh, yeah, okay, that takes time. So in that time, what have you been doing here as a community? You've been in gratitude for Reverend Karen, and then you're in gratitude. You've been in gratitude, not knowing, because I didn't know when I was downloading the talk that it was Reverend David Howard, but now that I know, we can celebrate even more. But you were in gratitude for that which was arriving, knowing that that was the answered prayer. It takes expansive awareness to stay in the present moment and trust that Spirit is perfectly providing, that there are steps that need to be taken in the human realm. In the mind of what we call God, it is already so. It's we're in this dense dance of energy that what we call time is just the way that something unfolds, just like the butterfly. That little caterpillar has no idea that it's like eating and it's having a great time. It's like a buffet with the leaves. Little does it know that it's about to turn into a cocoon, and literally its head's going to pop off. And it does. Can you imagine? Who's ever had a situation where you felt like your head was popping off? All right? All right? And you're like, what's this? What is happening? Why now? And then yet, in that deep silence, in that liquidation, in that understanding that there's something greater, an intelligence that's far greater than us, but is our life, then that evolution just naturally happens where that butterfly begins to form. And here's the other thing. You cannot help a butterfly fly. When it's coming out of the cocoon, if you touch it, you actually hurt it. You prohibit it from flying. Just like with the seed, you can plant the seed, but if you keep digging it up, it's not going to grow. So you've been in this little cocoon stage, but with consciousness. Seeding with prayer and gratitude, knowing that there's divine right action, divine timing, Spirit, the spiritual leader that has the values, that has the kindness, that has the joy of being, that has the heart of service, and he is arriving. And that is living an answered prayer with joyful anticipation. Pat, how often do we argue with the process? How often do we want it now and we make a choice and we regret the choice because we were in a hurry? Once again, anybody else but me? Come on, raise your hand so I don't feel so isolated. There you go. We're all having this human experience. And when we can understand that, we can have more compassion and kindness with each other. But living in answered prayer with joyful anticipation, I'm watering that seed. I'm blessing the opportunities. And guess what? Your minister is the vision keeper. But it's the evolution and the emergence of each one of you here, online, and those yet to come that is the new evolution of this beautiful butterfly that we're going to call Unity on Greenville. And that the minister comes in, and remember, with any kind of joy of being job, it takes about 6 months just to integrate and 2 years really to be in your flow. That's been my experience. And so when we meet in the moment with the new minister and that joyful anticipation, gratitude for the process of trust and prayer, conversation. I don't know, I'm not privy to what happened with the board, like I'll be like the little ears, like, was there any arguments? No, human moments, but all that is a part of how things grow, right? Because the little acorn can't stay in its little seed, it has to break open. The little butterfly, first a caterpillar, liquidates, pops its head. Then the butterfly emerges from its cocoon. And it doesn't have to be painful, but what we understand that in the human level, there is a process. Now, Charles Fillmore says, when we're talking about joyful anticipation with prayer, he says, we increase whatever we praise. The whole creation responds to praise and is God, and is glad, and is God. And then he says, let us all know that just now we are in the very presence of creative mind. The mind that made the universe and everything in it. The mind is here and at work right now as much as it ever was or ever will be. When we fully realize this, we increase the activity of mind in us immeasurably. You must realize that God is spirit, and that spirit is very real and powerful, and by far the most substantial thing in all the world. So, if the mind of God has already, of itself, making it known, whether it's a new minister or a demonstration of a new joy being job, or maybe moving somewhere, that you are aligned in right action, realizing, but spirit, that which is greater, that is my life. I am that involution, evolution, inlet and outlet of the divine, that's what's guiding the process. So that vision is pulling you instead of you pushing an agenda. Anybody else ever push an agenda? I'm having like a confession here of my human experience. So we go through this process, but if we can trust and know that whatever the prayer is, the prayer is the answer's in the prayer, and then with joyful anticipation that we're already in gratitude and praise, we're in that sacred yes, we're in that knowing that something greater is guiding, and we're listening. We're attuning, as subtle as the butterfly that may fly by. Spirit whispering that which is greater. Take a right here, and then you make that right. And you end up meeting the person that takes you to the school. That was me. That was my primary school. Or you listen. Hey, make a left. And then you avoid a situation over here in order to be able to express safely there. But we as human beings always feel like we're in control. But when we come from a place of consciousness, we flow. And that's the difference. To live in joyful anticipation is that I am going to know that the divine reality that I call God, whatever way that you name it and claim it, that it knows and I know by allowing the flow. That's why we meditate, so we can listen. That's why we pray, so we can plant those seeds, and then we water those seeds with gratitude. That's why we come together in celebration and community, so we can amplify that love. And then when you're having a very human moment, you have a safe place to come. I remember when my former community, when I first found that community, I was so excited every Sunday to drive there. I had my little Nissan Sentra, and I couldn't take the highway, so I'd take the long way. And I had that joyful anticipation, not knowing what I was going to hear, who I was going to meet, what I was going to learn. But my commitment to that sacred yes of evolution, to growing deeper, to expanding my awareness, to not knowing how it was going to show up or who I was going to be, that joyful anticipation got me through the long drives, because sometimes it was a little tiring. I was at the end of a long-term illness, for those who don't know me. So I was at the end of a 10-year illness with chronic fatigue syndrome and got in my little car because I knew this was the place. And this is how Spirit validated for me. Took the long drive. I'm sitting there in a parking lot. I'm nervous. I had moved from Los Angeles where, I'd been a part of a spiritual community, working in the film industry. I'd been sick for 10 years. And then it was like that butterfly. It's like, I am ready to go. I make that drive. It was Center for Spiritual Living Dallas at the old space. And I'm sitting in the parking lot and I am nervous. I'm like, is this the right thing to do? And all of a sudden, these white petals come cascading down on my windshield. And I took a breath. I'm like, yes. And then I stepped out of the car, not knowing a soul. I entered the space. I remember walking left, where Sandra Francis greeted me, who later became one of my prayer partners. I met a friend, Lisa Blackford. Didn't know who any of these people were, who later became someone that helped she and I, with hundreds of others, build the new space. See, I didn't know what was going to unfold. I just knew that was my next step. And I trusted and I listened, even though my body was still a little tired, even though I knew it was just a long journey, but something was pulling me to that which is greater, and I listened. And so when we live in joyful anticipation, we have to know that there is indeed that divine timing, that we are living in that answered prayer, that the new creation, the new community that we are creating begins with each one of you. Each one of you. And then imagining those who are going to walk in because they feel the beautiful music, they feel the love, they feel the vibration, and we are not perfect. Let's be really clear, right? Anybody want to raise your hand, especially anybody on the board? Because, the board has to make a lot of decisions, and sometimes people don't like those decisions. We are spirit in this human realm, but when we can come from the consciousness that there is something greater guiding us, then if I have a human moment, then I can allow myself to express myself in a clear way. So then I can, whether I need to ask for forgiveness or reframe what I'm saying, but I have to know that in this sacred space where we all belong and we operate from that joyful anticipation, that we can grow together something beyond we can even imagine. Because my first day at the center, that was 2003, I couldn't have imagined, one, the community that I met that grew, the people that became my friends, the invitation into service, because literally Susan Pankey invited me, because believe it or not, I am very shy. People don't believe that. I'm going to do like a YouTube with my mother with her Italian accent. Yes, Veronica was very shy as a child. Very shy. I'm really actually introverted. But when I get around people that I love and adore, I express in an extroverted way. But it was just like this shy little kid not knowing what was going to unfold, who I was going to meet. And every week something opened within me. And Susan Pankey invited me, because I sat in the back, like I was saying, I was quiet and shy. And she's like, hey, do you want to be a part of the recycling team? Yes, easy, not big commitment. And from there, that began me being more involved in community and meeting people and listening and questioning and going deeper. But there was that joy within me that I found my home. I found my sacred space. And then, of course, the invitation then was eventually to get into ministry. And then in ministry, create my own focus ministry, guided all the way by Spirit, having no idea that I would be teaching mindfulness to children. So when we live in answered prayer, we have to trust that we are just moving those next 5 yards. So a new unity on Greenville, even though you're all still here, is emerging with joyful anticipation. Reverend David is emerging. Whoever walks through those doors because they feel the amplification of love, something new is emerging. And when we can be in that sacred yes, in that joyful anticipation, because what we do is for us, to love, to connect, to grow, to deepen, to support when things are not going well. Because we don't do the metaphysical bypass. We have our human experiences, but then we get to hold each other in that truth. When someone is having a difficult experience, we get to know that truth without judgment. But something new, something good, something is evolving here. This is a new absolute chapter of unity on Greenville, and we get to be in gratitude for Reverend Doug, gratitude for those who continue to watch us come on in, and gratitude for all of you here. Because each one of you is an essential part of this vision. And with joyful anticipation, I'm coming to that potluck, by the way. My mama can bake. I call her Mama Mia. I'm like, hey, Ma, you got a cheesecake in there somewhere? She'll make something. But we come in that joyful celebration first of gratitude for each other, for being here, for trusting even when it was difficult, even when there was sadness of letting go. And then look what's emerging. We bless every step of the way because we spiral higher and higher. It's part of our evolution. And then we thank with all of our heart and our soul for Reverend Doug and for all the support that you received. And then we welcome Reverend David. But I'm inviting you to welcome the new you that's also emerging. The joyful anticipation of what is arriving. The listening of when to say yes and when to say no thank you. You know, you'll know when yes and no thank you. But to understand that prayer and living in an answered prayer and watering the seeds with joyful anticipation, we may not see the full oak tree grow into its brilliance, but in every moment we get to be a part of taking care of it, of loving it, allowing it to emerge. I am so blessed by your presence. This is an exquisite community. It is, for me, such an honor and privilege since January to be able to come in when I come in to support you. Not only in prayer, but to lift you in that joy and that excitement. Let me, my life, be an embodiment and a mirror to you that when someone says that's not possible, they told me at 30 I would never get well. Well, here I am. Here I am. And I allow that divine energy to circulate as my being. And I take naps. I like naps when I can. Or, mindful of my time. But here in this joyful anticipation of what is arriving, the building may look the same right now. People say, well, Unity of Greenville's always been there. But like, yeah, but we are evolving and emerging and spiraling up in joyful anticipation of good and more good. And we're inviting each one of you to bring your gifts because you're necessary. And if you just come once and leave, take the energy with you. But know that you have a sacred space that you can call home here, whether you come and come back later or you just come for the potluck. I try not, because I usually speak, in different places, but I'm making that potluck. I'm putting it on my calendar, But that joyful anticipation is that remembrance, the seed is planted. Everything that is within that seed is the divine intelligence that I call God, but it must work in harmony with all the elements. Prayer. There is divine timing. There's perfect flow. There's an energy that flows. Like I said, they told me I'd never be well. It took 10 years, but every single moment of those 10 years brought me to my nieces and nephews, brought me to the deeper part of myself, brought me to my community, and now that I'm all the way over here, I can say, yeah, that was perfect. May not have felt perfect at times. And then we understand. When we pray and live in joyful anticipation, we're like, yes, we're in the sacred yes. We open ourselves up to yes, so we can move any obstacles from our mind or want it to be this way like it was in the past. No, something new, something good, something magnificent is happening in this moment. And stand in that sacred yes. So if you're willing, before we wrap it up in prayer, if you're willing to stand in the sacred yes, I would invite you to stand and we're going to say yes 3 times, all right? You're willing to stand if you're capable, all right? And when I say yes, just breathe into this that we are saying yes to answered prayer in our personal life and yes to answered prayer for Unity of Greenville. So are you willing? Yes. A little louder. Are you willing? Yes. Are you willing? Yes. Now take a look around the room and just look at each other and say, are you willing? Are you willing? Yes. All right. It's in this sacred yes. Have a seat. Let's pray out. But it's this sacred yes. It's this joyful anticipation. In the law of vibration of the universe, energy matches energy. I'm not saying you have to always be like this. I'm not always like this because I'd be a little light bulb that would just burn out. I'm very quiet. I recharge. But when you have that prayer, when you plant that seed, you stand in that sacred yes and the excitement and joyful anticipation, just like when my nieces and nephews were being born. I didn't know who was arriving, and I fell in love time and time again. So let's fall in love with this sacred yes. Let's welcome Reverend David when he arrives. Let's thank Reverend Doug for being here. Let's thank each other for holding down the fort, especially through a pandemic. And in that sacred yes, I'm going to claim right now in prayer all the good for Unity of Greenville, because you are a magnificent community that I am grateful is still here. I drove by yesterday with my mother and my sister. I go, there's Unity on Greenville. I get to be there tomorrow. And just grateful that you, in this sacred space, will be the place that that one person, like me, sitting in the back is what I did for 9 months, found a home, found a way to heal, and emerged into something that was beyond my imagination. So close your eyes. If you're willing, take a breath, and let us just breathe in together this sacred and holy yes. This absolute knowingness of the one power and the one presence that we call God. That infinite light, that infinite love that makes itself known in, through, and as all of creation. God is all that there is. All that there is. All the love, all the joy, all the wisdom, all the peace, all the harmony, all the clarity, all of this is the way that Spirit reveals itself. And that each person here is a absolute, exquisite, perfect manifestation and demonstration and life of the Holy One. So I speak my word in gratitude and that joyful anticipation of the answered prayer that has arrived and continues to arrive. Gratitude for this community. Gratitude for all who came before us. Gratitude for all who are here, and gratitude for all who are yet to come. And to know that that joyful anticipation waters the seed of sacred community, the seed of growing consciously, the seed of having people and love to be there during the difficult moments, that we know that love is far greater than anything that maybe the world is showing us right now. But here at Unity on Greenville, this is where God makes itself known in the magnificence of each person here. And I know for Reverend David, just all that needs to get done, that he arrives in divine timing and the perfect expression that is his light. And I thank Reverend Doug for his just consciousness and kindness and for just lifting this space, guiding this process. And in this new birth of Unity on Greenville, let us celebrate in the sacred yes, that knowing that indeed this day and every day is a day that God has made, and that each person here gets to bring forth their light, bring forth their joy, bring forth their love, talent, and time, and whatever is necessary, and that together, together, we make such a beautiful community. I just know that divine mind reveals itself perfectly in every single moment, step by step, breath by breath, knowing that indeed it is divinely guided, loved, lifted, and supported. Let us breathe in this sacred yes. Breathing in. And exhale, letting that joy radiate as our beingness, and just that anticipation for all that arrives. And in deep, deep love, I know that this is so. I continue to know and bless Unity on Greenville, and I am grateful to be able to be present to the light that is this beautiful community. And one more deep breath. And as we exhale and let go and let God in gratitude, just releasing into that universal law, that aspect of God that simply says, yes, dear, it is here. We know that it is already so. And let us affirm it together by saying, and so it is.
Wow. I had heard, I joyfully anticipated to meet this Veronica. I had heard what a dynamic presence, and wow, above and beyond. Thank you. Wow. Well, she's like a grounded live wire. I like that. What a great combination. We're going to follow up with an original song by Rachel Levon, your musical director. And it's called Love is Contagious. And a little bit what Veronica alluded to about what a difference each one of you makes. I'm reminded of it every time we perform, because you're part of the performance. Your energy and the heart space that you connect with us on, it makes us even better. and thank you. We appreciate that. So we're going to sing Love is Contagious, and it truly is in this time of a virus. but so love is more contagious.
So let's focus on what we want to spread.
That's right.
I never walked a mile in your shoes, but I'm realizing
Technical.
I'm no different than you.
Live and in living color. So I want to share in this challenging technical difficulties. I have a poem I want to share with y'all. It's called Forevermore. The rhythm of love is pulsating in our hearts. The meaning of life is vibrating in our souls. Our elders are glowing because their legacy is growing. It's profound and it's clear, and it's why we're all here. Our dreams most definitely deserve to come true. It's our birthright. It's a privilege and a pleasure to pursue. So create your own happiness deep inside your core and enjoy inner peace forevermore. It's a little improv, right? And one I wrote for my mom. It's short, but it's real profound. It's called The Power of Prayer. My mom had raised me in the Catholic Church, which I am forever grateful, and but she let me visit my friends' churches, so I got a plethora of experiences. And I wrote this poem in honor of my mom. It's called The Power of Prayer. Palms pressed together, hearts open wide. Thoughts of compassion come from deep inside. Such a simple gesture with phenomenal power, like the essence of Mother Nature in the blossoming of a flower. As humans, we are one. The world is ours to share, so take some time to participate with your very own personal prayer. Yeah, all right, here we go. Love is contagious. Thank you for resolving that.
Everything happens for a reason.
I meant to share
I never walked a mile in your shoes, but I'm realizing I'm no different than you. There ain't no shame in your fragile state. Life is about learning, even if we're learning late. The tears we cry are just growing pains to help us make our change. If you could only see what I see when you're standing next to me, well, love is contagious. If you could only feel what I feel, then you know that love is real and hearts are courageous. No matter win or lose, I'll stand by you. We're gonna see it through, 'cause in the end, we all know religions and philosophies. But did I mention the greatest of these? Between faith, hope, and love, the greatest is love. The greatest of these is love. It's your miracle mile when I see you smile. It's the universal language. Love is contagious. If you could only see what I see when you're standing next to me, well, love is contagious. If you could only feel what I feel, then you know that love is real and hearts are courageous. No matter win or lose, I'll stand by you. We're gonna see it through, 'cause in the end, we all know the truth. Love, 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 love is contagious. Love, 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 love is contagious. If you could only see what I see when you're standing next to me, well, love is contagious. If you could only feel what I feel, then you know that love is real and hearts are courageous. No matter win or lose, I'll stand by you. We're gonna see it through, 'cause in the end, we all know the truth. I never walked a mile in your shoes, but I'm realizing I'm no different than you. Thank you.
Well, that was worth the wait, I can tell you. Thank you so much. And you know, when you have technical difficulties like that, just think we wouldn't have heard those beautiful poems by Rita if we hadn't had that. So yeah, thank you. It was beautiful, both the music and the poetry. Thank you. We have a vision here at Unity on Greenville, and I'd like for you to read it with me. We see a world where every being lives in awareness of their sacred oneness and divine light. And this was one of the things that this affirmation, we said when we were in our search for our minister. And we believe in the power of affirmation. And so we changed this affirmation just a little bit. So let's say this together as well. We welcome and affirm with love our new spiritual leader who embraces the truth of unity principles. So we are welcoming our new spiritual leader with open doors and open arms. We would love for you to connect with us. We have a connect button on our website. If you have feedback that you'd like to share with us, if you'd like to request prayer, if you'd like to share with us your information, we would be happy for you to do that with us. Just go to our website, www.dallasunity.org, and push the connect button. And now, if everybody would please stand, we're going to sing the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth. I know it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace with God our Creator, united all are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, there is peace on earth, for this is the moment now. With every step I take, I make this my joyous vow. I take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth. I know it begins with me.
And now the prayer for protection, everyone together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen. Thank you.